so you can talk with us and the guides. What are you lying to yourself about, and how is it hurting you? Why do people insist on lying to themselves? What purpose does it serve? Does it make them feel better about themselves or their situation? Do people justify lying to themselves by saying things like, they were just kidding? They convince themselves that these little white lies don't mean anything. People lie or kid themselves in order to feel better about their lives. They feel disappointed about their past and anxious about their future. So they make stuff up and feed it back through their thoughts. These thoughts create the emotions that make up their life and consequently become the actions they take that justify and uphold the lies they are telling themselves. People say things to themselves like, all I need is a new car, or a relationship, or a new job, and then I'll be happy. First of all, that's not true. You can be happy with the car or job you have now, and even the relationship, if both of you stop lying to yourselves. Most people hate liars. They can spot them a mile away. They detest listening to them at parties or in a group. The liar sticks out like a sore thumb because of the energy that person emits. It's easy to pick them out of a crowd. So why do you think that if you are lying to yourself, nobody will notice? Now, after a lifetime of lying and exaggerating, you know what you're telling yourself is not true. What's important to understand is that the most important relationship you will have is with yourself. So why are you lying to yourself? Here's how lying is hurting you. It's pretty much impossible to love a liar. People avoid liars. So, could this be the reason you don't love yourself? You know you have been dishonest with yourself, your higher self, and even with us. To break this pattern of lying and exaggerating, try this. For one straight month, stop lying to yourself or making stuff up that you imagine is real. See if this changes how you feel about yourself. In the beginning, you may not think you feel as good as when you're lying to yourself, but you will feel a positive difference in how others start to feel and interact with you. We know that you are lying to yourself, but we also know you can't lie to us, just like we have never lied to you. Maybe that's what's caused you to feel uncomfortable about your life. By the fact that we are honest with you, does this make you like us less or more? You must stop thinking that making stuff up and repeating it to yourself and others will help you. It's a ripple effect. Your vibration goes out in the world and it hits everything in its path. Soon, the entire universe will know who you really are. Summary. Who are you trying to fool by lying to yourself? Do you think that others don't notice? Once you stop making stuff up, your life will become simpler and smoother. How it works. Lying and making stuff up has become the norm in this world. Lying and exaggerations do not happen in the world you came from. That's because telepathy is the universal language there. That prevents lying from ever existing. This is one reason it's important to tune into this language. No one will ever be able to get away with lying to you again, including yourself. This is also the language that makes communicating with your spirit guides and angels a breeze. To overcome this tendency to lie and exaggerate, Keep track of the times you helplessly fall back into it by writing it into your journal. This is the fastest way to get this under control so you can begin to think and learn in a higher, more connected way.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah. Their insights are always interesting.
Let's see who we have in the audience.
All
here.
right, you guys.
Okay.
Yes, I'm excited, Ray.
There's one.
Who do we have?
Hi, Veronica.
Veronica. Hi, Veronica.
I'll get back in a minute and turn your microphones on, everybody. Let's get
There
everybody
you
on the
guys
panel.
are. There's Ray Holly with an empty slot. We have to leave you in there. Kathy's with us, Cartagena.
And
And Anne. Okay, good, you guys. Josie's with us. Oh, I'm so glad she came. Hi, you guys. All right. I'm seeing you on a big screen right here with the camera right in front of you. So now I'm looking right at you, you know. How do you like our new studio?
I like it.
Is it great?
It's very nice.
We've been working on this, and with Zoom and all, it's got the capabilities to do these kind of things. So we're going to be entertaining you guys with a new set and different looks, and we were going to do the full moon tonight, but because this was new tonight, Ray and I went, well, maybe we should not go out
that fancy.
Get that crazy yet. But it was a great big giant moon right here. It's a full moon tonight, you guys. And do you guys know what the full moon means? Do any of you know? Nobody knows? Do we have all the mics on?
Yeah, all my turn.
Okay. The full moon, there's the new moon and the full moon. And the new moon hits, and then about 15 days later, the full moon hits. It's every 15 days it cycles. So the full moon, it has to do with things from your past. It has to do with things finishing up old business. All right. So now you're just entering a full moon phase, and for the next 15 days, you want to get things done that you've been maybe needing to get done but didn't have time to do it. You put it off or whatever. Okay, so it's kind of like Mercury retrograde, where you get things done from the past. It's not that retrograde's bad. It's that's when you get your old stuff finished. And then the new moon is about starting new things. It's like having a new baby. Everything is new. It's not anything from the past. So you start new stuff and you sign new contracts and stuff like that in a new moon. And that's when there is no moon in the sky. It's like it's black. There's just this little sliver, right? That's your new moon. So we have a full moon, and we're cleaning up old things from the past, whatever that is. So think about that in your life. It's kind of fun.
Everybody's looking so good today. Look at this.
You guys, I like that. Purple.
Josie, tip your camera down just a little bit so we can see the rest of your face. There.
There she is.
There she is.
Now, who is that fellow next to you, Josie? Is that your man?
That's
I'm a burglar.
A burglar.
Well, you're not doing a very good job. Get your burglar thing going, huh?
yeah.
So Josie's new, you guys. She's in the center panel, and she goes out and she goes to these events where she actually meets these different mediums, right, Josie?
Yeah, we follow a couple of them.
Yeah. How fun is that?
It is. It's very there's
Some of them are fun.
some of them are fun. We've been two in particular that you leave and you just feel so good, even though the messages weren't, even though you didn't get a reading, but you just feel so inspired and peaceful with the messages that the other people receive.
Isn't that how this works pretty much, you guys? Isn't it great? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people say that they get just as much out of other people's questions on these
And answers.
answers on these
Right.
Tuesday night as they get when they ask their own questions.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how is everybody?
Great.
Good.
And Kathy,
Don't lie.
don't lie
Remember?
now.
Okay, what's your name?
That's,
Is that a good one?
The first lie.
What are you lying to yourself about, and how's it hurting?
everybody lies all the time. to
They
themselves.
do.
And the biggest one is, how are you today? I'm fine. No, hardly anybody that you ask that question to sounds fine, looks fine, feels fine, or,
I know.
can promote fine.
Yeah.
That's how they're feeling. It's kind of an invitation for them.
It kind of puts them in a bad spot.
It does. It puts them on a spot.
If you think about it, yeah. So we understand the little bit of lag there. Ray and I, we went out to Costco on Sunday, got a few things. It was crazy.
Crazy busy.
It was crazy busy, but people were so edgy. They were so edgy, and I was like, wow, And then we went somewhere else and it encountered.
Yeah, some lady tried to run her over with one of those electric carts.
But you could feel it. It was just in the energy, in the. I don't know. Something was going on
That full moon energy that makes the crazies come out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that isn't that the truth.
Plus
That's what they say too. They say that's when the crazy people come out.
Well, that's why we were out. Our Costco trip, what, twice a month, maybe 3 times a month?
Yeah, something like that.
That's our big trip away from home.
It's not. Are you complaining about that?
No.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that, Ray. Now, is that lying, Ray?
No.
We have to have fun with this, you guys, because the world we live in, it just doesn't. I don't know. It pushes you there. It makes you have to do things that. You don't have to do them, but a lot of times you do things that don't honor who you are. It doesn't feel like it could feel, like it should feel. And so what do we have for questions? What do we have?
Who had something interesting this week?
Yeah, that ties into the theme.
Well, it doesn't tie into the theme, but my husband had his bone marrow transplant today.
I saw that. You posted that, yesterday on Facebook?
Yesterday, they administered the chemo. Today, they administered the stem cells.
Stem cells. How's he doing?
He's doing great.
That's good.
Good, very good.
We both breezed right through it.
And that's old business from the past that's been, going on.
Right.
That's right. Well, good. Life doesn't. It is what it is, and you guys are facing it. You're handling it really, really well. I can feel it in your energy. Can you guys feel her energy? She's strong, right? She's not doubting herself. She's not worried to the point of stupidity. Of course you're concerned, but you're not letting it control you, right?
At first, I was freaking out when he was first diagnosed.
Sure, that's right.
But I have had an unshakable faith that everything is going to be fine. Ever since after the first month after he was diagnosed, I let go of that fear, and I've just had such a peace and calm about it. I know he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kathy, I see Kathy up here in the corner. Can you see us, Kathy?
I'm sorry, are you?
Yeah, can you see us?
Yes, I can.
All we can see is your shadow. You might want to see that light behind you.
Go in the opposite direction?
Yeah, if you see the light, turn the light off behind you, and I think everybody will be able to see
my other light is broken.
Ah.
So, yeah.
So we're going to see the shadow of
We'll see the shadow of Kathy.
All right, Kathy. We just wanted to get the full experience.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay. So do all of you guys get Linda's weekly guided insights?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. The girl.
I actually don't know that I do.
Okay. Well, then that's what we use. That's what we talk about on Tuesday. Is we cover things in the insight. So if you just go to the website, you can sign up for it. It's free, and then you'll be on track with what we're doing each week. And what do you guys think of the insights?
I like them.
Love it.
There is something I wanted to share, and I was telling my husband about it today. So after the Friday session that we have, I can't tell you how relieved I am that I don't have to force myself initially to meditate, because I was having such a hard time with it.
Right.
And I was trying to get my husband to do it, and he's like, I can't. And the breathing thing in alone time, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's like a switch goes off. And every time I start getting a little bit stressed out and I start the breathing, and I don't have to force myself to clear my mind.
Right. It takes care of itself.
It's amazing.
It is. It really is. It's amazing how easy all of this is, you guys. Learning to do this, like what Ray and I do, it's just a matter of learning to balance your energy in a different way, you know, and really get open. Where usually when you go out in the world, you're guarded quite a bit actually nowadays, and you're pretty guarded. When you sit with your guides, it's like you let all that go. And it's through the breath, Josie, that this is accomplished. The guides have said it time and time again throughout our insights that we do, and in coaching sessions with people, where some people are just they're so stuck, and until they start doing that breathing, and I work them through it sometimes with them to get them moving, you know, and all of a sudden it just opens right up, and they talk like you do. They just go, wow, I feel like a rock just fell off my back.
Yeah.
But that's not my burden. That's stuff that doesn't belong to me, you know, and that's exactly right, you know. It goes back, you know, in my guided journey, it goes back to the little kid. I take you guys back to the little kid in part 2 when you take the journey. And it goes back to when we tried to make everything work. We wanted everyone to like each other. We wanted everyone to be happy. We wanted everything to be right. It goes back to that. And so over time, we just start getting more and more bottled up with trying to make it work. We turn into control freaks and neurotics is what we do. All right. And we don't even notice it happen. It's just kind of happened, you know? And so that's really why the journey is important in part 2. Taking that journey and looking back at how we got off track back there. I do that. I keep saying that to you guys because when I was a kid, I didn't do that. I didn't have to, that's why I didn't have to unlearn all the wrong things later in my life. I talk about that in Guided. I didn't have to go through that, but I paid a different price, okay? I was the oddball out as a kid, and nobody, you know, the kids thought that I didn't get it. They thought something was wrong with me. And the last thing they wanted to be was someone like me, you know, when I was a little kid. So even though that's a good thing, and I didn't have to shake it off later in my life, it's something that most people have a problem with. And that's why I wrote that. So you can go back, and I remember not being a party to it, but I remember all the kids buying into it, you know, and everybody else did. So it's an interesting observation from my point of view in writing my guided journey. And Guided, actually, you know, the whole thing is, it's a different perspective because I didn't do it that way. And, you know,
there's a lot of psychology and even psychiatry type things in my guided journey as you start walking backwards through your life. These are things that, you know, professional psychologists wouldn't even delve into because they don't isolate it that much. They don't take it step by step. They don't really believe that you came in here into this life with all the power that you do and the connections that you do. I mean, you're never more connected than when you're a baby.
Right.
You're a new person, and you really come in pure and connected.
Right. Until
adults kind of beat it out of you.
Well,
society.
Ray's still recovering, you guys. Forgive him.
Till those nuns
beat it out.
Till those nuns beat it out of you.
It was the nuns.
It was the nuns.
You know, you gotta have fun with
Sister
your
Mary Rambo. And Kathy, we can see you now.
You can.
A little
Yeah,
bit,
that's good.
I don't know what happened.
Well, you turned away from the light a little bit. That's good.
Turn
Now we
away. Okay.
can- now we can see you.
Yeah. So anyway,
So
you guys,
getting back to the meditation thing.
Yeah.
People have such difficulty with meditation because what the first thing they try to teach you is how to clear your mind. You must clear your mind of all the noise and all the activity that's jumbling up, that's coming in from all. You really can't do that. It's pretty much impossible to clear all the thoughts out of your mind, because as soon as you clear one out, there's another one jumping right in. But what you want to do is you want to activate your mind to bring in the right kind of thoughts. Okay? Not the distractions of the day or what happened at work or with your kids or with the neighbors or whatever, but you want to not clear your mind, but activate your mind in a way that you're focused on the right thoughts.
and that takes us back to the theme for today. Why are you lying to yourself, and how is it hurting you? When you Ray was talking, when you meditate, you're supposed to get rid of all those thoughts, right? This is the opposite of it. This is, actually, there's a blog. Did you send that to Josie, that blog?
Yes, that's where I got it.
Yeah.
Good.
That talks about where the guides came through and talked about that several years ago, about the difference between meditation and living a guided life. And it's different. They said when you live a guided life, when you meditate, you have to stop to do it. That's the first thing they said. And then when you live a guided life, you don't have to, it doesn't interrupt your day at all. You're just more tuned in to the radio, let's say. But the guides are the radio. They're always broadcasting to you, but they're not going to scream it out at you. They're not like somebody trying to sell you a car. They're just blaring with their message, right? The guides are, and we're used to hearing the messages come through like that, just rudely attacking us, our personal space, like, oh my God. Okay, the guides don't do that. They will never do that. In fact, if you ever hear that, that is not your guides. That is not. So your guides come through and they are constantly sending you guidance. It's constant. It's the continuum always working, right? So it's not like this, high one moment, down the next. High, none of that is consistent. It's in the flow, all right? So that's what you want to tune into. And the only way you can do that is if you turn off this other stuff. You can't hear this over all this, okay? Because that's lying to you. Those are all just like trying to get you to do something to benefit them. That doesn't, buy this new car to make you feel great about yourself. No, it won't. It'll put you in debt. It won't make you feel good about yourself. And it'll attract the wrong people. I'm going to go buy that Corvette. Oh, I'm going to attract a real interesting crowd with that decision, I mean, you can see what it brings to you, right? So we actually set it all up. If we just stood back, our higher self, and we had both parts of us working. Here we are, the persona, the human, the ego out there doing all this stuff. I want all this. I want some of that. I want some of that. Okay, and then there's the higher self. There's the guides. They're nice and calm. They're looking at everything, assessing it really clearly, and they're feeling it, and they're seeing it, and they're analyzing it, and they're taking it all in. They're totally capable. But we're just out there kind of like the little kid in the candy store. I want some of this candy, some of that, some of this, some of this. We're just out of control with this, So that's where, when you walk through your life and you're living a guided life, you take that pause. All you have to do is sit back. You want that new computer. Oh, you want it. Okay, stop. Just go home and sleep on it. Pause, relax, get back into your higher self. Get hooked back into that energy that connects you to your guidance. And let it speak to you. Let it show you what and why and when. Okay?
That blog that I sent you, Josie, about the meditation is different from living a guided life. It's the same way with.
But that's what it's called.
It is.
Yeah.
But meditation, to put it in perspective, meditation is a practice. So, and living a guided life is a lifestyle. Just like if you had a healthy lifestyle would involve things like jogging or exercising, or that would be the practice part. That's like the meditation part. It's just one part of the overall lifestyle. So living a guided life, it involves many things. Just like a healthy life would involve exercising and eating right and breathing right and hanging around with the right people.
Right. That's right. So what's the difference, Ray?
Between what and what?
Between meditation.
Meditation is a practice. And it's part of living a guided life. It's something you would use.
It's a discipline.
It's a discipline, right.
Okay. But that's the only, like, the intersection. That would be the intersection for those two.
Right. Just like jogging would be the intersection for a healthy lifestyle.
But other than that, they're different. Because one, meditation causes you to stop, and living a guided life it's a continuum. You haven't gotten off the ride. You keep going. Okay. You haven't put yourself over here and so it's different. Maybe that's why it's easier actually than meditation. Once you learn how to kind of turn some of this noise off, so you can start to feel and hear and breathe. You're naturally going to breathe because this isn't chasing you and pounding on you, So it does more damage than you think. That's, I guess, what Ray and I are trying to say. Back to our theme.
I did some research on our theme.
You did?
I did. I did my homework.
He always does this. Okay.
In one article I saw, it talks about why people lie to themselves, or why people make stuff up so much, and they repeat it to themselves so much that they actually believe it. And they said it was because their life hadn't turned out the way they wanted it, or the way they expected it to turn out, and the lying to themselves eliminates depression.
Huh.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, but go ahead. Feedback. You guys, let's talk.
I mean, I can see looking on the bright side and trying to be positive so that you feel better, but that isn't necessarily lying to yourself if you just notice nice things like, wow, the sun is out and it's a beautiful day. I mean, so I don't know. I had never heard that theory exactly, but.
Say it again.
The people lie to themselves because their life hadn't turned out the way they wanted it to, and it wasn't what they expected. So to eliminate their depression over it, they lie to themselves and make stuff up.
So give an example of that, Ray.
Well, the good old day syndrome. When they look back at when they were in the heyday of their life, maybe they had a great career in sales when they were in their 20s and 30s, but now they're in their 50s, and it's not like it used to be. Their life didn't turn out the way they wanted it to be, so they always talk about what? They always talk about the past, when they really were successful, and now they're not, but they still tell themselves they're that successful person.
Right.
That was 20 years ago.
Okay, right. So my interpretation of what Ray just said is, instead of being present where they are right now, they could be 60 or 70 or whatever, they're not, if you're not present, you're missing your life that you have right now.
Right.
You're missing the present moment. So rather than going back and telling the old stories, right?
What do they say the stories are? They say that all the stories you tell about the past, that you tell over and over and over again, are the glue that keeps you stuck in the past.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's what keeps you hanging on to that. And although it was true then, to say that to talk about it now it's okay. There's two parts to this today. There's the lying to yourself, and then there's the kidding yourself, making stuff up. Okay, So what's the difference between out and out lying to yourself and making stuff up? That would be, kind of making stuff up. That was then. I mean, when I was 25 years old, I did this stuff. Well, that's good. You're not 25 anymore. What are you doing now?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's how you remember it too.
Wishing I was 25.
But talking about it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Why would you talk about it? It would have to have a reason for you to even bring it up. Otherwise, you're right here, right now, and this is the present moment, and this is what you have. This is your bank account. This is the difference between being alive and living in the past. That's just remembering stuff that's happened then and this is now. That should have made you into somebody now that can do even more than you ever have. Okay, so who is that? I want to talk to that person. I don't want to talk to that 25-year-old, 30-year-old person who was still lost. Really, you guys. Mm-hmm. I want to talk to somebody who's got something to talk about. I want to hear something good.
Yeah,
and I want it to be right now. Yeah.
The article said it's especially common when you get together with those people you worked with when you were in your 20s or 30s, and you all get back together and you go reiterating all the war stories and you embellish them all. And that's really never the way it happened, is what the article said. It was never really that good. The good old days were not that good. They were just better than.
They were challenging.
They were very challenging.
You had kids. You had responsibility. You didn't like your boss. There was a lot of things, if you look at it for what it is, like the truth, that wasn't great. Thank God they're over. Mm. I don't know about anyone else in my life. I'm done with those days from before. I mean, thank you. I learned from them. It really does make you a richer person. Mm-hmm. But to ponder it and to keep going back to it, and it's a waste of time. And that's where you can get caught up into exaggerations, making things up, lying to yourself.
Forgetting how it really was.
The whole package, not a segment of that package. So,
here's a good example. We both like James Bond movies, okay? So we watch the new ones when they come out, with the special effects and all the fancy stuff, and
that's more. It's more interesting.
Yeah, more multi-million-dollar effects, and so we go. One of these days. Remember how all those old ones, those were so great, and blah, blah, blah. We should go back and watch them all.
So Ray got
in order, starting with the first one and the second. We got to about the fourth one, and we went, wow, these are horrible. And they really are. They're fighting like this, and they're missing the other person by 3 feet, and you hear it.
So, and there's a delay.
Just terrible.
It's really funny. So when we look, see how it's actually funny, you guys? The guides love it. They love it when we can be lighthearted with this stuff, because we're doing some things that could use some cleaning up. And here's the whole point. Why would we want to bother? Why would we even want to bother cleaning any of it up? It's kind of, some of it, let me favor the everyday person and say it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to visit the past and go back there and remember the parts I want to remember. Okay, yeah, selective remembering. I'll go for that. All right, that sounds good, and I'll do some of that. And then, but I don't live in it. Okay, let's say you do a little bit of it, but you don't live there. You're not counting on that supporting you and being your shine for the rest of your life. You're not doing that. So you keep it in perspective. But I'll tell you what will mess you up. And no matter how you try to justify it, is exaggerating things. That's probably the worst lie you could tell, is an exaggeration. Making something into something more than it was. What that does is that really separates you from everything. It's a sever. You did it, and you did it single-handedly. You did it to yourself. you know. So it's this. You know how I learned this? Really learned it was my mom. My mom would exaggerate everything she got her hands on. I was like, I would watch her. I remember as a little kid, I'd watch her and I'd go, I think what I realized with my mom when she did that, she made me have to look deeper because it was so awful to be around it. I realized that she was making stuff up because she missed her life. She didn't get to live the life she wanted. She wound up with 3 kids that she didn't want any of them, you know. And she wound up, my mom was not stupid. My mom was a sharp but devious person.
Would have made a good lawyer.
She would have made an incredible lawyer. Oh my God, she would have been good. She would have loved her life, you know. But she wound up like that, right? With a family and 3 kids and oh brother, you know. So she wanted some excitement in her life. So that's why she did all that. So when you see somebody who's exaggerating their life and making all this stuff up, this embellishment, you know, and really they're lying. They're lying. Those people are the most, how to say, they're the most damaged, I guess you'd say.
They're the most disappointed.
They're really seriously hurt people. So that's, if you want to know why, now watching somebody else, here it is. When I ask you guys to always pull back and observe what's going on before you get pulled into it, okay? Just take that pause. And you sit back and you watch somebody go into that. You will go, the first thing you'll feel is you'll judge them. We're so programmed to do that. Ouch. Okay, we'll go right into judgment. And then we'll go, okay, well, I'm done with that. Now what? All right.
They're still going.
And they're still doing it, right? Okay, so then now it's turning into kind of a torment because they won't shut up. They keep going. Okay, so then you go into, okay, what makes this person tick? Why are they doing this?
Right. Start analyzing.
You look at it, you look under the hood. You look under the hood and you look at what's going on under the hood.
Yeah.
And now you're out of judgment and you're in this mode. You're observing. And then you see what it is. Now that you've got that nugget, that piece of truth that's pure and real. Now, when you do it, you can realize what's going on with you. You can go right to what it is.
Right.
See, when people are exaggerating like that and trying to build themselves up, especially like say you met them at a party, what would happen is the worst thing that they're looking for validation. They're looking for people to agree with them.
Well, they're going into the part where you analyze what's going on. All right.
Right.
But Ray, do you feel? I'm going to get Ray on this.
Uh-oh.
Do you feel the edge on Ray as he's explaining it?
Yeah.
That little bit of shut up. He'd like to tell him to shut up. You can feel that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So he's got. Now here we go. He's got that little bit of, wanting to just smack him. All right.
Yeah.
And a little bit of I get where they're coming from. So he's got the judgment and I see where they're coming from. Okay.
So they're looking for validation. They're looking for you to agree with them, and you're looking to argue with them. So the worst thing that you can do to somebody who's exaggerating and going on and on and on is don't agree with them or disagree with them.
Yeah, you just stop.
Smile at them and say, well, that's an interesting way to look at that.
Yeah.
But there's always something in it for us to pay attention to. That it's like the mirror. It's trying to show us something, even if it's a slight deviation, course correction we need to make in our own life to get that true north back, to get laser sharp again, to get back in the game where we are really, really good, all right? And there's something in it for us to learn and go, oh, you know. And when you walk away from that, you don't remember that person as somebody you judged. You look back at that person as something that was really valuable for you to learn or remember or to be reminded of at that moment, okay? So you guys, there's always something in it. Most of the time, when we look at this stuff, lying and exaggerating and making stuff up. Exaggerating, making stuff up, they're kind of the same thing, don't you think?
It's everybody's favorite college, MSU, making stuff up.
But we live, at the beginning of this session, the guides talked about, this is the world we live in. This is it. It's filled with this, okay? So how do you get yourself right when you're consumed, when everything else around you is filled with this, right? How do you do it? Talk to me.
Take a breath.
That is,
Yes.
yeah.
Take a breath and try to put yourself in the other person's shoes so that you can
That's it.
understand.
That's it. That is the smartest and wisest choice right there. That's it. That, you know, what that does is that gets you to the point where you no longer need that showing up in your life like you used to. So it doesn't. It's the law of attraction. We draw it to us, a part of us that still is wounded or needs healing. Like Ray, when he goes to the grocery store and he comes back furious, I go, Ray, you didn't learn that very well.
They made me go through the self-checkout line.
And they didn't pay you for it either, did they?
No, I want something to do my own work, you know. I have to back at myself and check myself out? You gotta be kidding.
So he's a work in progress, right, you guys? He's pretty good.
We all are.
That's exactly right.
It deprives me of catching up with what the Kardashians are doing while I'm waiting in the other line.
See, that's what
We
I'm
have some
talking
new
about.
people joined us. Russ is here, Bridget's here,
You guys.
Mona's somewhere, and Brenda. Hi, Brenda.
You guys.
Hi,
Full house. I love
Welcome.
it. How is it?
Brenda.
Yeah.
This is Russ.
Yeah.
Hi, Russ. Is he right?
He's over here.
Over here.
Well, he's different up here.
Yeah, I see
He's
him.
over there.
I'd like to know from my guides how to be with my daughter. I have a real difficult time being with her right now.
How old is she?
How old is your daughter, Russ?
54.
Okay.
Aha.
Your spirit guides and angels are here with us, Russ, and they're gonna tell you about that. And here they go.
It's nothing you are doing. Your daughter has recently gone through a big change in her life. She has entered the second half of her life where things get very cloudy and decisions are difficult to make. It's nothing you can do except be an example for her.
Thank you.
What happened to your daughter 2 years ago? She's 54 now.
Yes,
What happened 2 years ago?
I don't think of anything different 2 years ago than in the last 6 or 8 years.
He's been busy in his own life. His
Yeah,
wife died. He's
that's
been
right.
consumed. He's not going to be able to answer that, right? Yeah. Just Russ,
Yes,
when's your next? Where are you traveling to next?
I'm going to Nepal and Tibet in September.
All right.
Okay, so you just keep focused on that. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. You focus on that, and you. How long are you going to go?
I'll be gone 2 weeks.
Okay. Yeah. You focus on that, and that's keep your mind clear. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Are you doing your breathing?
Oh, I try, and sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not.
I know. Take yourself out walking.
Outside. Yep.
That's what Ray was getting to.
Deep breathing. If you can go outside somewhere where you can go barefoot, that's even better. Where you can feel grounded.
But not where you're going to get glass in your feet. I mean, he's talking about on the lawn or something like that. All right. But you need to take care of yourself. All right.
Yeah. I hear that.
She's obviously going through some things of her own.
Quite so, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just how's your son doing?
He's doing super.
Okay.
Really super.
Why don't you talk to your son more often? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Russ is a special guy, you guys. He's been through a lot in the last year, but he's doing great, and he's picks himself up and he goes. He keeps
travels the world by himself.
right. He does.
Yes.
So he's a go-getter, and he doesn't let life get him down. A little bit sometimes. It knocks you down. It takes you by surprise.
It does. Yeah.
Makes it fun, yeah.
Yeah.
And there could be a lot of things going on and all I can say is that to the most part it's nothing you did, and you just need to take care of yourself. You need to be sure to do that.
Yeah, you're right. I think so.
Okay.
It's like the oxygen mask, Russ. You always put your oxygen mask on first before you try to help somebody else.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
you're not there to be abused.
Right.
Yeah. I can't help her.
No. Nope.
Oh, yeah.
No. You have a son. He's wonderful.
Yes.
You travel. You're having fun.
Yes.
You come to our group on Tuesday.
Yes.
They're loving, wonderful people, and you just keep treating yourself right, Russ. You're good.
Okay. Thank you.
So we're talking about. Do you have the session there, Ray?
I do.
What's the title to this?
We're talking about why are you lying to yourself and how is it hurting you?
Okay, so how is it hurting you? We talked about the lying part and the exaggeration part and the making stuff up. Now, how is it hurting you?
Something crossed my mind as you were talking about exaggeration, and it's so the way that comes forth in my thinking is sometimes, I mean, I hate to admit it, but we're telling the truth, right? It's like worrying. It's like that is an exaggeration anytime that you kind of future trip.
I agree with that.
Because we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we like one little thing goes wrong, and then I'm like, oh my God, all this other stuff's going to go wrong because of that, and what's going to happen, and so it affects me then I feel bad and worried. So
worrying about the future is always a setup for anxiety attacks.
Right.
So you have to be real careful.
So anyway, the worrying part. Yeah. So you know what the guides called worrying? We did an insight. It's been, I'm going to say 2 or 3 years ago. They came through and said, worrying is self-abuse. How about that one? Worrying is self-abuse. And you're right about that. That is making stuff up, Veronica. We're making more out of it. We don't trust our universe when we worry. Right. That's the best way to describe it. Whenever I catch myself, because we're all human, I catch myself let's say there's something about Ray that I'm worried about. I'm thinking, I'm worried about it. Is he going to be okay? Or it's something like that, right? Where I'm kind of holding my breath. You're worrying when you do stuff like that. Then I think to myself, you can trust your universe. You know you can. And worrying about Ray or whoever it happens to be, it was our kitty cat 2 years ago when our kitty cat died. Worrying about it is the wrong energy. It's absolutely wrong because let's use our cat, for example. Our cat died July 1st of 2 years ago. And it was just time. He didn't worry about it. It's just, hey, it's checkout time. I can't be in this body anymore. And he started looking for a place behind the sofa or something to go die. You know what they do. They have the instincts to take care of that stuff. They don't think about endings and beginnings. They know this is one big continuum. They already know that. We have to spend a whole lifetime learning this. You know what? So they don't worry about what's next. They're a little taken off guard. They're not, they're a little surprised by a few things, but they're not worried about it, because it's a transition. So of course you're going to feel a difference. So they're kind of on guard, right? But they are not worried. So for me to worry about Benny, was his name, about him dying, is doing the most it could do is to keep him from moving on because he's worried about me now. Mm-hmm. Now he's hanging on because are you okay if I go? That's really where they're coming from.
I need to go.
Exactly.
Yeah, same way with people and human spirits. The whole family's together and
Ray's mom's a good example of this.
The whole family's, oh, Aunt Betty, please don't go. Oh, wah. And you get a whole bunch of those people around your bed telling you not to go. It makes it pretty hard for you to go.
And it's some of this is guilt. They're there because they're guilty.
Right.
About, well, I better show concern, or otherwise I'm not a good relative or something.
Well,
it's
that story's in Guided, isn't it? About my mother.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, everybody was around. I lived in Texas. She was in Ohio, and all the family was in Ohio. And they all were around there. Don't go, please don't leave us. And
criticizing Ray.
Criticizing me
right.
for,
It's really karmic. It's karmic goo. It's just really, when you find it like that, that's the epitome of karma. You walk into it, it's like, I don't know how to it's peanut butter. It's real thick and it's real, it's hard to get it off your tongue. It's nasty, It's it's not something that it's exaggeration.
Right.
It's a lie because they're covering something up with this over dramatizing caring, and then they, on top of that, when they have to add fuel to the fire, they blame Ray for not being a good son and he was busy paying her monthly nut where she was because she had no money. And so he was busy making a living so he could keep her in this great place while they were sitting back criticizing him.
All she was looking for.
It's typical karma, right?
Right.
What it came out to, the last time that I talked to her on the phone, the family was around there, and the nurse gave the phone to my mother. I told her it was okay. I told her I loved her. It's okay for her to go, that her sister, Jean, is waiting for her on the other side. And all she needs to do when we get done talking and we hang up the phone is to lay back, close your eyes, and go to sleep. And everybody's around there. And when we got done talking, she did that. She laid back, closed her eyes, never woke up again.
Wow.
She
was looking for permission.
Exactly. From somebody who didn't have all that load, that weight, that thickness, that complication, that lie, that exaggeration, that making stuff up, that guilt, that it's karmic goo.
Karmic madness.
It's karmic madness. And it's good to laugh about it, you guys, because it's too much to just take on and not release it. Laughing is kind of like breathing. It gives you a break from all this intensity,
Yes.
So whenever you feel yourself in a situation like that where you feel the drama, the trauma, the lies, the weight of the situation, it's the same old thing. You were walking back into it again, the job, the kids, whatever, I don't know, whatever it is. It seems to be everywhere. It is everywhere. So how do you live in this world and survive that? It's just like we talked about. You recognize it. It's like after a while, when you tune yourself up, you're breathing more, you're hearing the guidance and less noise, and you just get higher and higher tuned up, okay? The more you do that, the more loud this will feel. The more obvious the lying and the worrying that people do and the exaggerating and all this it'll be so obvious to you that you'll just go, oh man, I'm not going back there. There's nothing in it for me. I really know that that's not good. And you really do find yourself more focused in the direction you should be going and not drifting off and getting sidetracked and distracted and pulled in, to this kind of stuff. So, but if you are confronted with it, if it is right there and it's something it's deliberately in your face, pay attention. Pay attention, because when Ray comes home, sometimes, really freaked out for little stupid things, really, you guys. And I just look at Ray and I go, sometimes I tell you, I go, Ray, I hope this is the depth of our problems for the rest of our lives. The line at the grocery store was too long.
I love that. I'm going to use that line. I'm going to use that line.
You don't go to the grocery store.
You can have your groceries.
She would if she was in line, all right?
Yeah.
He comes home very frustrated because of egocentric people or rude people and what happened to courtesy and yada, yada, yada. And I like Kathy said, because my thing is also like, give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they stood in the middle of the aisle because they were in their own little world. I've done it accidentally.
Absolutely.
Maybe they're not rude. Maybe they're just,
I'll tell you when I'm done.
Okay. That is really true. That is true, Josie. That, we need to slow it down too a little bit and have a little compassion here, right?
Yeah.
That's what that's about, what you're talking about. It's like put yourself in his shoes. Maybe he just had a moment. He needed a moment.
Yeah.
Everybody's dealing with their own stuff.
That's not what upsets me.
What upsets you?
Holding the door for somebody and they don't have the time to say thank you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Stepping aside so that they can come out and they don't have the courtesy to say thank you.
That's true.
Letting them into traffic and it's like you owed it to them. They don't have to at least wave.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That's a disappointment. That's just disappointment in humanity.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like some of us remember the 50s, don't we?
We do,
We
Ray.
do.
No.
Remember in the 50s, if you got a new job or you got a raise at your job, all your neighbors were happy for you?
Remember that?
Yeah.
That's gone.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what, you guys? The kids today don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
They don't ever even remember. We got a little taste of it growing up. It was prominent in our parents' day and age.
Right.
But in our life, we were just getting the tail end of that. But how nice was that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I grew up in Ohio, and there was a lot of farming communities around there, but neighbors would grow their sweet corn, their tomatoes, and everything else, and bring them all over to your house. All the extra stuff.
I know. The 50s weren't perfect, but there were some things about, those times that we can bring back and we can example, in our world that, how much more of this can we stand? I personally, I personally, I don't know. I personally had to do something about it. That's why I wrote this book. All right. I had to get it out there because I had to let other people know this is not okay. This isn't right. You know, we've got to get this right. So maybe we can do something and reach the younger kids so they can get their souls back. I mean that. These kids, they're soulless people, you know?
Ego.
Yeah, it's terrible. And they don't, Josie, they don't actually know any better.
Right.
Yeah, for the last 15 years, all I did was play video games.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So they are master liars and exaggerators, and they're the masters of it because they're really they're lost. That's really what I want to say about that.
Because the video games have taught them all those bad things. They've had their head in the video games, and that's horrible stuff in those games.
They did what?
The video games teach them, you know, killing people and.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
They're horrible.
Well, you know what video games really are? They're simulators.
Right.
You know what a simulator is, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay. It's where they go in and they practice certain hand-to-eye coordination.
Right.
To be able to fire those rockets off in the military and stuff like that. So they're simulators, these video games, these kids. So there's no accident.
Yeah, early on when video games caught on, all the branches of the military had recruiting stations in the malls to catch the kids. They'd put them up near the video arcade.
Do you guys remember that?
Hand and eye coordination.
Yeah.
They put them right near the video arcades.
Right.
See, if you really looked at that, you'd go, oh my God, what, you know, but people don't think about it. They just, you know, accept it, and that's where the kids want to go play. So to get the kid off their back, go ahead and go play those games. I'm going to go shopping. You know, that's how this all happened, you know. So we just have to example something different. I don't know. Whenever we go to the store, I don't go to the store very often either, Josie.
No, she doesn't go ever.
It's like a Linda sighting when we go to the store.
When I go, sometimes I'll just have to
have a thing called shipped. We bring it to the house and set it on the counter.
Yeah. Everything can come to your house now.
Yeah, she grocery shops. Grocery shops on the computer.
That's true. Yeah. But whenever I'm at the store and with Ray, and you know, the young kids, the 20-somethings are filling up the bag, putting the bags in the grocery cart and everything, I always take that time to talk to them. And they're like surprised at me. You know, that I even bother. That's just no wonder we got to get this right.
And you can the turnover is so high at those jobs, and if they're smiling, like the bagger, the girl or the kid that's bagging the groceries, if they're smiling, you can guarantee they're new. That's how you tell the new ones. They're still smiling. You go back there a couple weeks later, they're not smiling. You have to do things to brighten their day.
It's sad but true.
So this thing about how you're lying to yourself. Everybody lies to themselves in some form, because sometimes it's just, you know, it's a tough thing to have to deal with the situation. Is that Bridget at the bottom? Hi,
yeah,
Bridget. Hi, Bridget. It's just a tough thing to deal with, but in order to, all of you are here because you want to make the connection to your guides. You want to live a more peaceful life, but you also want to live a life that is mindful, one where you're living your life, one where your guidance, you follow your guidance, and it's an adventure. It's a journey. It's fun. It's fascinating. You don't have to worry. There's no reason to worry when you're on your path. You don't have to do it. What you do have to do is write in part 3 what's going on your path, so that because we're human, we need something that's grounded in this world to remind us where we've been and how we got where we are. All right? That's why this is important. This is why you want to keep using this and writing in there. Even when you don't think it's guidance, don't worry if it's guidance or not in your mind. Just write in there what you're feeling. Like with you, Russ, today, where you had that situation with your daughter.
Yes.
I want you to take, do you have the journal, Russ?
No, I don't have it. I do journal, and I have my own journal.
Okay, Russ. So write in there what happened with your daughter. I know it's unpleasant.
Yeah.
Write in there what happened with her. Write it with the most clarity you can conjure up.
Okay.
And date it. Don't write it from being hurt, from being a victim. Don't do that, because that will not give you clarity. Okay.
Okay.
And you can't examine anything until you write it down and look at it. It's really hard. You can speculate about things, but until you write them down, can you bring it into this world and actually study it?
Yeah.
It's so.
I do feel damaged. I do feel hurt. And you're saying avoid that?
No, write that in there. You want it right in there. But you don't want to sit there and just keep writing about, the torment you feel. Don't encourage the torment.
Okay.
Just document that it made you feel badly.
Yes.
Write down from an analytical mindset what happened. Keep your emotions out of it.
It's kind of like a play-by-play.
Yeah.
What happened?
Play-by-play. You're recording it like it happened.
Right.
And that way, Russ, when you look back at it, when you review and you do your little review of your journaling,
yes,
look back at it, you can see it for what it was.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's mucked up. It draws you back in. And if it's doing that, then you wrote it in a way where it can't help you later. Right?
Okay.
Because what's going to happen, excuse me, Ray, but what's going to happen is your daughter's going to do this again and again and again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what's your best defense against it?
You can expect it.
You know it's going to happen. Write it. This is going to be what saves you. This will save you. Okay. Because if you don't do it, you're going to forget what you did before, and you're going to kind of butter it up and exaggerate it and lie about it, and you're going to make stuff up, and you're going to get lost again. And your journal is designed to keep you from going there.
Okay.
It's your best friend. It's going to keep you on your path, Russ.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
And one other thing. Sorry. One other thing. It's going to make you into the best dad she ever had. I mean,
right. Being the example.
That's what this is going to do. It's going to make you stronger than she is.
Yeah, you can never allow anybody else to put you into the position where you feel like a victim, like you're the victim of whatever they're doing that you don't like.
Yeah.
If you look at all these, Facebook's a good place to look at them. You go on Facebook and you see all these survivor groups. I survived this. I survived that. I survived a narcissistic mate. I survived child abuse. And they're so proud that they're a survivor, but what did they really survive if they still see themselves as a victim?
That's right.
They were a victim of child abuse. They were a victim of domestic violence. They were a victim of this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah.
And they say they survived it, but they still feel like a victim. If you still feel like a victim, you really haven't survived.
Uh-huh.
Well, you're not alive. You're using like Ray said earlier, it's a story, it's the glue of the old story. They like talking about, the way it was in their fixed thought.
And like these survivors of anything, they all like to get together and use their survival. Well, I've had 14 operations on my back and my hip. Oh, I've had 16, And it's like a competition of who can make themselves feel the worst.
Thank you, Ray.
It's bad. So what we want to do to keep ourselves right and to keep ourselves true on our path where we're 100% sober in this world, that says a lot. That's a lot all by itself.
Yeah.
We're here. We're 100% present and loving it. How do you do that? You document what's going on with you. You've got to do it because
I can do that.
you know what this is? This keeps you conscious.
Yes.
That's what this does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're good. You're good on that.
It was just like when Linda was little. When she started, how old were you when you started journaling?
Oh man, 7 or 8.
Okay, and why did you start? Because you had nobody else to talk to about it.
What I was experiencing, there was nobody I could talk to about it, and since I knew I wasn't losing my mind, and for some reason, you know, when they all showed up around me at 20 months old, that changed everything. It was a shift for me, and I never thought anything was wrong with me. It's a good thing I didn't think that.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was somehow insulated from going into that. But at the same time, I started journaling because I couldn't talk to anyone about it. I really needed to talk about it.
Uh-huh.
So that's what caused me to start journaling and seeing the benefit of it.
Good point. Good.
So I know how it works, and I know that it does work. And I know that it's important, and writing your dreams down and, you know, doing all that. It's so important. And it will keep you from becoming a liar. Okay, what's the name of this topic today, Ray?
Why are you lying to yourself, and how is it hurting you?
Thank you, Ray. You know,
I actually had, I wanted to say something about that because I thought of this. One of the things it hurts you is like it doesn't allow you to change. You know, if you're lying to yourself, you're not changing into something better. You know,
That's right.
yours are all the same.
You're preserving something that's in that lie.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. It's a downhill situation. It doesn't take you anywhere you want to go when we do that, you know?
Plus, when you lie, you can never remember what the truth was. If you tell the truth, you never have to worry about that.
That is exactly right. That is the only way to track. What's the point? Otherwise, there's no point. And we watch what happens to people who lie to themselves, who make this stuff up and cause havoc in everyone else's life around them. Right, Russ?
Yes, exactly.
So that's what you have there. You've got somebody who's looking to push something off onto you that, you know, there's some underlying intention there that they're being deceptive about. Lying, exaggerating, making stuff up. It's all in there, you know.
Yeah.
And it's designed to control other people. It really is.
Right, or get attention or make people feel sorry for them.
Exactly. So if we catch ourselves doing this, here's another compassionate perspective on this. If we catch ourselves falling into the trap, okay, of lying, exaggerating, making stuff up, letting ourselves be a victim, it's all in the same pot, you know. We find ourselves doing that, then that's when the journal writing becomes even more critical. You've got to expose this thing that keeps interrupting your life, that keeps bringing you down. You've got to expose it. The only way you're going to do it, if you talk to someone else about it, it still wouldn't expose it. Not like writing in your journal, right, Russ?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Russ learned a lot. How long have you been journaling, Russ?
A year.
Yep.
Yeah, and when did you start, Russ?
Right after my wife passed a year ago.
Right.
Yes.
See how that pain, finally, that incredible pain pulled that beautiful part out of Russ.
Yeah, I had no one else to talk to. I did, but I didn't want to talk to anyone else. I just wanted to journal.
That was right.
And I talked to my wife in the journals.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Isn't that awesome, you guys?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And Russ is, he's doing great. He's come through a lot. That's been 1 year of transition that's been over the top.
Yeah,
60 years, right, Russ?
you're right. Yeah, a 60-year romance.
There you go.
Romance, not just marriage. Did you hear that?
True.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
That's a long time.
Russ, you should read Whitley Strieber's Afterlife Revolution. He's still communicating with his wife who's passed, and it's beautiful how he describes his experiences.
Say that name again.
Whitley Strieber, Strieber,
Okay.
and it's Afterlife Revolution.
Uh-huh. Okay, thank you.
And he's making conscious contact with her.
And how is he doing it?
Well, before she passed, she very methodically went through a plan of how she would manifest connecting with him. And we talked last week about telepathy.
Yep.
And even though he can't physically see her, he's getting her telepathic conversation.
Very interesting, Anne.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Interesting, you guys. So fascinating. So how
Rob,
about, go ahead.
can I ask you, is your daughter, was that her mother?
No.
Who passed?
Yes.
So see, she's also grieving. She's also going through that.
He is very much still grieving, yes. Yeah, it's true. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Family stuff is tough, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. It's brutal. It is so hard.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this is an interesting perspective here. I have to say, my family was so brutally,
Dysfunctional.
and an unending attack on me. Okay, all of them, every last one of them. All right, that they made it impossible for me to be in their life. So I've been free. Is that interesting how that works out? I've been absolutely free of all this family drama and chaos and nonsense for 20 years. I'd say 20 years. That's nice, you guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're one of the lucky ones.
And I remember when I was leaving California, I left California in 1989. That's where the family lives, right? And I left. When I was leaving, the guides told me, they said, this is going to turn out to be important and actually critical that you make this move right now. You won't see the reasons why for years to come. And they were right about that. They were, and then they said, welcome to getting your life back. You've got your life back. So don't take it personally. The guides are always letting you know, don't take this personally. Not if you want to learn something. If you want to learn something, you go in, take it personally, let it hurt you, let it confuse you, let it throw you off track. But if you really want to get what this is, again, the journaling, this keeps you from taking it personally. This keeps you on the straight and narrow. It keeps you right and clear.
It's like running the gauntlet. You don't really have time to think about how it affects you. You're just dodging the obstacles.
Right.
Now, why did she wait?
Like a running a gauntlet, like the obstacle course or walking on fire. Do a fire walk.
In other words, just follow your guidance. Is that what she's saying?
Yeah, you don't have time to think about it.
Right.
Or you'll burn your feet.
Well, that's right.
You gotta keep going.
What happens is if you really trust, like what Veronica said about worrying, if you never enter into worry, don't even begin to do it. Because that's where everything else starts to go downhill and just ratchet away all the good stuff. Don't even buy into it. Catch yourself the instant you feel yourself in that worry mode before you start lying to yourself and making stuff up and saying they didn't really mean it. They're sorry. I know
They were just kidding.
Yeah, and you start making excuses for them and yourself and whatever, you know. Okay, you don't even go there. And you go, wait a second. I'm not going to worry. I know the universe has my back. I know the universe has my back. This is my job. I have to write down what's going on with me. Instead of spending that time, otherwise spending it worrying, I'm going to spend it productively, and I'm going to record and write down what's going on with me so I can deposit it here, put it here, and not have to think about this. Because I know I've done my best. If you've done your best, even worrying doesn't work then, even if you didn't do your best. You've got to go to work on doing your best. Not worry about doing your best.
Or trying to do your best.
None of that's productive. That is not why you're here. So that's also where we fudge and we go, oh, you know, it's okay if I do a little bit of this. No, it's not. It's not okay at all. 1% of it's not okay.
Yeah.
The toxic water is toxic water. Toxic air is toxic air. Toxic thought is a toxic thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay to have 1% of it. It's not. This is your best defense against going down that road anymore, right here. My guided journey, free download on my website. It'll be published on Amazon in the next month. So that's where it comes from. That's what we have to do. And we have to become, the only way we can beat this thing is to become conscious. And journaling will help you become conscious and honest with yourself.
And it helps to start to see the patterns that people run on you, the patterns that you fall into in your life.
Right. And best, but not least, is this connection to your guides. When you clear up all this junk that's going on, all of a sudden, consciousness, you can start to hear your guides.
Right.
It starts working.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what? They've always been there. We haven't been there. We've been all messed up. They've always been there, waiting for us to be ready.
Some of you are so quiet. Josie got quiet. I see Snowflake came and got belly rubs.
Yeah. Yeah, she wants to be enlightened.
See? They just ask for what they want.
They come in enlightened.
They don't even think about it.
That's right.
I think I'll go get a belly rub. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time you let somebody rub your belly? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's...
Or lick your ear.
Lick your ear.
Okay, who's been too quiet? Brenda's been pretty quiet. Bridget, you've been pretty quiet.
Bridget's been quiet. What's going on in Bridget's world?
Oh, I made a lot of progress with the apartment today, and I feel so much better.
You look better.
You sound better.
You do.
Really?
Yes.
They delivered a couple pieces of furniture today, from Nebraska Furniture Mart.
Furniture is good.
Yeah, place to sit, comfortable place to sit. And
Better than before.
I put a lot of things in, it found a place for everything, and pretty
That's
much
good.
got everything set. It feels a whole lot better.
Great.
It does. Once you get all the boxes unpacked, that's the big thing.
Yeah, there's a place for everything, so.
That's it.
Yeah.
Brenda, what's happening with Brenda?
Oh, not much. Not much.
Well, make something up.
Go ahead and lie.
Impress us.
Had a good run today with my friend and both of our dogs.
Good.
There you go.
Yeah. I bet the dogs were smiling.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, people never smile when they're running. That's why I don't jog.
Now, Brenda, you're right. You're in Phoenix, right?
Glendale.
Glendale.
Glendale,
So
yes.
that must have been early this morning, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 6.
Oh, yeah. It was kind of cool today, 109.
Right.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Just warming up, just getting us ready for that 120 degree plus summer.
Please don't even say that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you never see any joggers smiling, do you? I don't care. You're driving around, you see them coming towards you, they're never smiling. Yeah, but they say, "Oh yeah, I love to run."
Ray's
like-
not sold on that.
It's
Bill.
like mountain climbers.
In other words, more lies, right?
It's
Exaggerations.
like mountain climbers. If you ever talk to anybody who climbs mountains, you ask them, well, why do you climb those mountains? And they always tell you the same thing. It's for the challenge. And you go, really? For the challenge? Then why do you go up the easy side?
See, more exaggerations, right?
I have a brother who used to live in Phoenix, and he'd get up at 4 a.m. to run.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see that. You'd have to. Yeah,
Oh, crazy.
I know.
So everybody's pretty quiet.
So you guys, what did you think of the insight today?
How many
I
read
think
it?
it was right.
Well,
But
It was right on point with what I was learning today. So
Yeah.
actually, a couple of the things that you said today. So when I'm working with my guides, a lot of the things that you said today, Linda, not even about the lines, just the answer. You answered a lot of my. So I had a lot of questions today, and I didn't get a lot of answers. But then coming to this, I don't know. You said all the answers, all the things that I needed to hear, and I'm sure you don't even know that you were doing it. Like,
Yeah. Well, of course not. The guides, they come through
right.
and they speak to you guys about what you need to know. Like while we were doing this today, I'll share this with you guys. This is interesting. At the beginning of this, we were maybe 20 minutes into this. I don't think you were in the early part of this today, were you? With us? Is Kathy?
Some of them joined a little while later, but
But
they were
is
listening.
this Kathy talking to us?
Yeah. What is it, the yellow?
No, I was like, I think I was like 5 minutes late.
Oh,
No.
just 5 minutes late. Okay, at the very beginning of this, I thought, wow, this is I talked about the full moon. It started moving through some other things, and I thought, now this is an interesting direction this is going today. I mean, when Ray and I do these, we come prepared. We come prepared, and I do mean we come prepared, okay? Not something we do lightheartedly. We come prepared. And Ray's got a whole bunch of notes for himself. And this is something that we take very seriously. And when it started today, I was going, wow, this is taking a whole different direction than it normally does. Do you agree? I mean, Veronica, you've been with us enough to know that today started out differently, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. And I'm going, what is happening here? And whoa.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and turn the fan on. Yeah. Okay, that's a little thing a little modification we'll be making here.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about, you guys. Yeah, the light switch is behind the computer screen. Okay, now that's an interesting connection talking about this.
That's a confirmation.
We'll see how this plays out. This isn't played out yet. Okay, so just go ahead and sit down, Ray, and just let that thing cuddle your head. Okay. So I thought this is starting out kind of very different, but I'm not going to worry about it because I know the guides have this. I know that they've got a certain thing that they want to do. And Kathy, you brought that up. And what do I know? I mean, all I know is I just follow its lead.
A lot, apparently.
Yeah. Well, the guides, they've said all along. They said that they're working with us on this project, and that it's moving in a direction, and it's in motion, and it's actually a work in progress. where it hasn't completely shown its shine yet. They just said, follow our lead and we'll take you there. We're moving through this together, and this is what this is. So and then, as we move through this, then the theme started kicking back in, and the theme started coming back through, and we started talking about it, and then Veronica talked about the worry and how it ties into the lying and the exaggerations, and it's true. It's so true. So everybody talked, about different things a little bit more, and Russ came and Bridget came, and we've got new people coming. So this whole dynamic, this whole collective of us being here also takes the session that we do on Tuesdays on its own journey, okay? Because it's all of your guides, and they need to convey something to you guys, to each one of you, and to collectively all of you, to get through to you. And over the course of the next few days, the next week, it'll solidify. And you'll especially if you're doing this, if you're doing your journaling, all right, it'll start to show up. And that's what this is about. So as far as this goes, while I'm talking about what I talked about, let's let the guides talk to us about what this is, huh? Do you want to see?
Yeah.
Okay. So here they go. Without the lights. Can you see, Ray?
I can see.
All right. So what is going on here?
The amount of guidance you actually hear is very small. It would take a lot of time to catch it all. You would be writing, listening, documenting, and studying all the time. So you must be selective about what you write down and what time of day you take out to dedicate to listening. We want you not to be overwhelmed. We want you to understand fully the exact amount of guidance you need at any one time.
From my experience, I'm going to say this to you guys, whenever I needed guidance, where it was, where I was in a bad place, all right? Somebody was killed in the midst of trauma. I mean, serious trauma. You know how you can't, it's like shock. It's the best way to describe this. Where you go into shock, you kind of go into this place that's really quiet and peaceful. Whatever's going on is way past you. It's like you can't even connect with it. You're in a different place. Do you understand what I'm saying, you guys?
Yes.
Okay. When you get in a situation like that, I'd say that's about as radical as it can get. You want to have perfected this skill of calming yourself down. Don't go into panic or worry or anything that you know, or starting to make things up and starting to. You don't have to save your own self, is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to go into these extremes to save your own self, because that won't take you where the guidance is. That won't help you in the way that you need it. It will not be efficient, and it won't be reliable. That's why this skill of learning to do this Perfecting who you are. Write this stuff down. Become conscious of what's going on in your life. And if you lie to yourself, you're going to lie. You're going to lie to other people, and you're going to lie to yourself. You're going to exaggerate to yourself and to other people. You're going to make stuff up. Sometimes you're going to want to feel bad. You're going to want to feel like a victim. Write it in here. Write it all in. Tell this in here. Okay. And keep it in chronological order and date it and keep it going. You look back at it and you're going to start to see who you really are. You're going to see who you really are to the point where even if you paid a psychiatrist to put this in their hands to tell you who you are, okay, they could never tell you who you are like you can. But you can't see it the minute you write it down. You won't be able to do that. You will only be able to see it after you reflect on it and look back at it. You got to do this. So when you really need this help, when it gets real, you're going to have it. Because you're going to have done the work. You're going to have this discipline going down. It's going to be fresh inside of you, okay? You're going to have it. You won't have to hope you have it or go to somebody that you hope they have it so they can give it to you. That's ridiculous. They could never give it to you.
Nobody's going to save you.
You've got to do this work. And that's why you're going to know what to do. And you're going to know what to do in a great situation. Something good just happened. Oh my God. You're going to know how to look at it and like I say, sit back with it, let it, just observe it, look it over, and then it's yours. You didn't chase it. You didn't try to manipulate somebody to get it. It's yours. If it's there and it's now and you got this discipline and you know how to trust this and it feels right, it's yours. But you got to work this. You got to do the work so you know what to trust. You know you can trust it. If it's wrong, you know it's wrong too. Walk away from it. Done. Your life is not complicated. One part of this that sticks in my mind, I want to just grab this. When they said, one thing they said that I thought was interesting, they said, we know that you are lying to yourself, but we also know you can't lie to us. Now, this is the guides talking. Just as we have never lied to you. Maybe that's what's caused you to feel uncomfortable about your life. So as you pursue this connection with your guides, you start to sober up, is what I want to call it. And you start to realize, in order to have this connection with your guides, they are straightforward. They don't dance around things. They just or sugarcoat things. They just tell you like it is, don't they? For those of you who have had coaching sessions from me, is that right? They get right to the point.
They aren't a respecter of your convenience at any time.
But they say it like it is. They know you can handle it. They know you need to know that, right? So here's the interesting part here. By the fact that we are honest with you, does this make you like us less or more?
Yeah.
So
You can't respect them
what's that?
because they're so honest and it's so right there. You can't help respecting them.
Well, here's what happens, and in my perspective of it, in my working with them my whole life, is they know you can handle the truth, first of all. But because this world is a world where everybody has coddled each other, it's nobody tells the truth to each other anymore. They tell you what they think that you can handle. They don't tell you the truth because they don't want you to attack them. They don't want to take the blow for you not being able to handle the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of butter it up and sweeten it up just to kind of get you off their backs. The guides never do that. That's why they asked you that question. That's why they said that. Everybody on this planet is so used to being coddled. The word coddled comes to my mind because people, what is Jack Nicholson in that one movie? What's the name of that movie?
Was that,
What did she say?
which one?
Is this as good as it gets, or something like that?
Yeah, that was a great movie.
He says in this movie,
No.
he says, somebody goes, well, tell me the truth. Tell
Oh,
me.
no, that's the courtroom one. I forget what's it.
Oh, the courtroom.
Oh, A Few Good Men.
He handled it.
A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Right, and he goes,
You
tell me
can't,
the truth. Tell me the. Tom Cruise is going. Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. And
he can't handle the truth.
remember that scene?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
that the truth? He couldn't, and people can't handle the truth. So that's why the guides come through with stuff like this. It's they will never lie to you, but the world's not used to that. It's amazing how much that's true.
That's because you're lied to all the time on the television.
Oh yeah, that's all it is.
Every commercial, it's one lie after another.
And politicians and everything. It's just we just have to get right with this thing. And when we do, you guys, your life will get simpler. Like they said it'll get simpler. And what did they say? Simpler and smoother.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they said.
Right.
So not everybody's into that. Some people still like
Chaos.
they like excitement.
Drama. They like the drama.
Right.
Exactly. So there's this one, the comedian, what's his name? Chris Rock.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, when he was in his early days, he goes, I was with this girlfriend. He goes, we've been together for about a year. I come home one day and, she wants to leave me. And I asked her, I said, why do you want to leave me? And she goes, I want some excitement. And he goes, oh, you want excitement? He goes, you mean like the crabs you brought home to me about a month ago? You want excitement? And he goes, and how about the rent money? When you spent the rent money on new clothes and we didn't have money to pay our rent, that's excitement,
Yeah.
And there's all this excitement, right? It's excitement I could do without, right?
It's chaos.
It's chaos, exactly.
People fill their whole life up with the drama,
Right.
and especially family drama. Especially large families.
Oh man.
Large families.
And they really, that's a really tough one to get through, You need a lot of these.
You need a lot of extra pages printed out there.
I oh man. So we can laugh about it, but in all honesty, if we get real with this one point where we don't lie, we don't exaggerate, we don't make stuff up,
And we don't tolerate it from
exactly.
anybody else.
Right. But Ray's approach to not tolerating it is okay. Where my approach to not tolerating it is to recognize what happened, write it in here, and tell the whole thing. Not just the part where the person was a jerk, but where what was going on. What do you think was really going on with that person that made them into the jerk that they are? And how close am I to becoming just like that, right? Okay, because we really have to own up to it and have some compassion for this mess because we're part of it, you guys. We signed up for this whole thing.
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
So does anybody else have any great insights on this that they'd like to share with everybody?
I wanted to say something. When I was little, my parents, they used to take my journals and they used to go read them and use it against me. And so I actually stopped writing for a really long time just because I hated writing. And then recently, just before I didn't even have to, my guide, they said to write things down. And so I started doing that. And then I also started writing just every little thing that I saw, like coming true, or my holy crap moments where I couldn't even believe it happened.
Right.
And that was really my evidence that things happen. It was evidence to me, and it just it helped out so much. And I realized I should have never thought or have cared when my parents did that,
Yeah. And, I don't know why they turned that against you, but because my daughter did the same thing your parents did.
Yeah.
I had my journals, and my daughter would sneak in to my place where I had my journaling, and she would take them into her bedroom and read them way into the night. And I went, wow. Now that I could say that was intrusive, and it was, but she was my daughter. So I thought, I kind of have to go with this. Maybe she's going to learn something from this, and she's going to get it right. I just had to leave it alone. So in that case, I do think that even though she turned out like she has, I do think underneath the hood, underneath her persona, her facade, I do think that she, in her quiet place, in that silent spot, I do think that she knows a lot more than she would have known had I interfered with that, And she doesn't want me to know that I know. She don't want me to know that, but I do,
Well, when we were young, when we were kids and young, we had diaries, and you put your most personal things in your diary, and you got upset, like Kathy, when somebody read your stuff.
Yeah.
And now we put our most personal things out on social media, on Facebook, and we get mad if people don't read it. Right?
Yeah.
How times have changed.
You won't see me doing that.
No, I wouldn't do that either. Well, no, I did it.
Yeah, you put all your personal stuff out there.
Okay, so here's my point in where that wound up. This book, I thought I did all my healing by the time I wrote Guided. I really did. I had done a lot of work on myself. I thought I had it together. Not even near until after I wrote this book did I really get this solid, all right? That's why I know here's where it starts. It starts with this journaling. I was journaling my whole life and writing my dreams down and everything. That's how come that was possible. This is why that was possible to write this. But this is the ultimate healing experience. You guys take this journey in part 2. You got to go in there and find out what happened back there first. Guided, all right? That's what that is. And then part 3 is when you write your story. Part 3 is when you keep track of what's going on with you. You don't know what this is all going to turn into. I didn't. I never knew that it would turn into this. So.
And what you learned, what Linda learned from writing Guided really didn't come to you for 2.5 years?
No.
After the book was out for 2.5 years before Linda did Reflections on Guided. There's if you go to her website, go to her blog, and look down the right-hand side, and it'll say Reflections on Guided. And those are all, there's 8 of them. They're about 5 minutes long each, and they're videos. They're video trailers about what she learned about herself after she wrote the book.
Yeah, and all the coaching sessions and all the people that came to me, I've done coaching sessions in 16 countries now. Everybody that tried to pull out of me, what is this, Linda? How do I do this, Linda? Where am I missing it? What's going on? And all this. That's where those trailers, I had to do it because it took these people a little bit further. They didn't want the book to end, for starters, all right? But it took them a little bit deeper into the insight that I got from it from writing the book. So again, it takes you back to your own journey. It takes you back to that deeper place that your soul has been wanting you to go to, so you could really accomplish what you came here to do in this lifetime. That's what this is all about. Veronica.
Oh, I'm just really hearing that and appreciating it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep envisioning the tote board at the racetrack, where as people are placing their bets, it just keeps adding up, and the odds keep changing, you know, and it goes on right up to post time. And I think our lives are like that as we learn new things and realize we were wrong and admit it.
Isn't that
all the numbers are changing for us?
Isn't that refreshing?
That's a good analogy. I like that.
To admit it, to where we were wrong and admit it. How refreshing is that, you guys?
Very.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Yep.
This is, write that stuff down. You write everything down. Write the junk. Write the good stuff. Write the inspirations. Write what you just said. Write that all in there. You're going to see a whole collage of you that's like, oh my God. But it's going to work itself out. Trust that process. You guys are brilliant, all right? Just like you are. Just start writing. Russ, how brilliant has that writing turned out to be?
Fantastic. Fantastic. I go back periodically and read what I have written to Peggy, and I keep evolving and changing, and that allows me to see how I'm evolving and changing, is to read what I wrote months ago.
Right.
It's been very worthwhile.
Right.
Yep.
And how's Peggy helping you with that?
She's with me all the time and is helping me make my decisions.
Yep.
She travels with me.
I know she does. Yes, she does. Yep.
So we want to see some pictures from Nepal and Tibet.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. You guys.
How about next week? What's going on next week?
Oh, yeah, next week.
Next week.
Okay. And then the closing message from the guides. By the way, the guides loved this today. And this spill on our heads. Oh, the best is yet.
I've seen the light.
Yes, exactly. That's funny. So the thing would hang down well. Ray put magnets all over it. Too much weight on it, Ray.
Yeah. It's drawn to the
I love this.
plate in my
You
head.
guys, Ray and I are always working on a project. All the time. Okay. Tell me how beautiful this is. Isn't this something? We're always working, and we're going to switch this out. Each week you guys come on Tuesdays, we're going to have a new surprise for you guys, okay? This is just the beginning, all right? This is just part of the fun. We do this. And if you guys have something in mind that you'd like, you let us know, and we'll make it happen back here. You want us at the ocean? You guys want a trip to the ocean right here? We'll put that up for you, all right? I'm serious about that. Whatever feels good. Nepal, you want a little Nepal kicking out there? We'll get a picture of that, and we'll get you ready for your trip, Russ.
Wonderful.
We'll get pictures of some of those cute little kids with their goats from Nepal and Tibet.
Aren't they the cutest, those goats?
They are.
They're adorable. Okay, Tuesday next week, July 3rd. Watch or interact with us right here on Zoom. In Linda's weekly guided insights, you will receive the link to join, as well as in the event that we post on my Facebook page at Linda Deir Author. But you guys all get Linda's weekly guided insights, so you get the link right there inside the insights. So talk to your guides, to us in the group. It's 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. So to be published next Tuesday morning in Linda's weekly guided insights, the guides will be talking about what has your intuition told you today?
Say that again.
What has your intuition told you today?
Interesting.
Your intuition tells you something every day, all day long. Did you hear it or feel it? Did it come through a dream? Or was it an event that happened in your day? Did someone you didn't know walk up to you and say something you weren't expecting? Did you ever see that person again? Lighten you up as far as not missing the guidance that's coming through. Recognize the guidance that has come through. So over the course of this week, in your journal or whatever journal you use, when you get an insight, you get an inspiration, you get an idea, you have a dream, a gut feeling, write it in part 3 and bring it with you. And we're going to have your guides talk to you about those insights that you've been getting, all right? You're journaling. If it's not an insight, you're journaling, what you're writing in your journal, what inspired you to write it, what you were inspired to write about, all right? Bring it with you and let's get in there and talk about some of that, all right?
Great.
Okay, so the guides are going to close the session today about, and what's the name of the session, right? Why are
you lying to yourself?
And how is it hurting you?
How is it hurting you?
Okay, here we go.
When you find yourself feeling unhappy, look at the lies you are telling yourself.
Well, that was straight to the point. When you
find yourself feeling unhappy.
When you find yourself feeling okay, so here's the point to that message. If you're feeling unhappy, that's a lie.
There's a reason why you feel unhappy.
Well, it's to feel unhappy, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
You missed the message. You misinterpreted it. Okay?
You made it up.
Russ, what happened with your daughter? The first thing, the fastest thing you can grab onto is hurt. Okay, it hurt me. Is it true? Is it true? Did it hurt you? Did it need to hurt you? It's not you. It's not yours.
No.
Okay?
No.
So that's what they mean by that closing message. Did you guys write that down?
Yes.
Okay. What could you repeat it?
When you find
What is it? Go ahead, Veronica.
Oh, okay. When you find yourself feeling unhappy, ask yourself, what lie are you telling yourself?
You guys need to write that down. And that's all you need to do. That's the trigger. That's the trigger that'll keep you from going there. And when you do go there, because you are going to do it, you're going to write it in here. And then this will keep you from going there. Who's got the kitty cat?
I'm sorry. She's deaf. She can't hear us.
Don't ever apologize. We love that little kitty cat. What's the kitty cat's name?
I have to stomp on the floor. She's deaf, so we didn't give her a name.
Doesn't come much close. See?
Well, isn't she sweet? So what do you call her? I mean, you must call her something with your heart. What do you say?
No, seriously,
you don't have anything. Oh my God!
We stomp on the floor because you can't hear anything.
How old is your kitty cat?
She's 2.
She's 2. Oh, you're a saint.
Yeah.
You took that little baby in.
How many cats do you have?
We only have one, but we have I leave her food out, and we have a bunch of other cats in the neighborhood.
You knew that. See,
and I'm sure that they're out there too with her.
When I lived in Texas, I had like 8, 10, 12 cats, and they could stay outdoors all year long if they wanted to, because there was no predators and the weather was nice. But some of them want to stay in, some of them stay out. But I'd go out in the morning, and all their friends would be there too, like for breakfast. So there was always at least a dozen or more cats on the back porch and inside. I had one cat that didn't leave the bedroom for 3 years, except to go down, use a litter box, and eat. And then she came right back up to bed, just slept in the bed, same spot for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I called her Sonny Von Bulow. And you remember the Von Bulows. She didn't leave the bedroom for like years. But no, I've had almost 150 cats in my lifetime.
That he rescued all of
All
them.
rescued, except for one, got him at the pound. All the rest of them showed up, brought their friends.
Oh, wow. Well, that's why she's so loud, though. She cannot hear. She's a deaf cat. She can't hear, so she doesn't. I don't think she realizes how loud she is.
It's like people with their headphones on shout at you.
That's true. Like me.
Yeah.
When I'm cutting, videos and stuff, Ray's going, Linda, or I'm screaming.
You're screaming at me.
I don't know I'm doing it. He goes, take those headphones off. Oh, okay, That's true, though. I can see why she meows so loud, because she doesn't know. She's got.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've had some deaf cats.
Yeah, that's interesting.
No, this is my first experience with one.
Wow.
Yeah. What color eyes does she have? Blue?
No, she's all white, and she has like green eyes.
Yeah.
But I heard that white cats are prone to being deaf.
Yeah, a lot of them have blue or bluish green eyes too.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, hers are green.
Yep.
Well, she's